There's a question many people ask when the topic is the Tesla Model 2, and it almost always revolves around the same point. How much will it cost? It's a fair question, after all. This car was promised as Tesla's most affordable electric vehicle, the one that would finally put the brand within reach of those who never imagined driving a car with this technology. But what few realize is that the answer to this question isn't in the bold design, nor the advanced software, nor even the factory where it will be assembled. The answer lies within a component that most people will never see up close: the battery. More specifically, what happens inside each cell of this battery while the car is being used in the real world, in everyday life, in traffic, on the road, in the garage. This might seem like a technical detail reserved for engineers and specialists, but it's not. This detail decides whether the Model 2 will cost $25,000 or quietly cross the $40,000 mark, transforming a popular car into yet another vehicle out of reach for most. And to understand how this happens, it's necessary to look at two types of batteries that are at the center of this dispute: the aluminum-ion battery and the solid-state battery, each with its promises, each with its limitations, and each with a very different impact on the final price of the vehicle. What's at stake here isn't technology for technology's sake. It's money, it's accessibility, and it's the future of a car that can change the market. The battery is not just the power source of an electric car. It is the most expensive, heaviest, most sensitive component, and the one that most influences engineering decisions throughout the entire production chain. When Tesla designs a vehicle with an aggressive price target like the Model 2, every choice related to the battery has a direct consequence on the price tag at the dealership. The type of chemistry used in the cells, how those cells behave under pressure, the amount of material that needs to be installed to guarantee the promised range, all of this adds up to hundreds or thousands of dollars in production costs before the car even leaves the assembly line. What makes this discussion even more relevant is the timing. The Model 2 is scheduled for release in the second half of 2026, precisely when the battery industry is undergoing an intense transition. New chemistries are emerging from laboratories and attempting to achieve industrial scale. Promises of greater efficiency, longer lifespan, and lower cost circulate frequently. But promises and industrial reality are very different things, and Tesla knows this better than anyone. The choice of battery for the Model 2 cannot be based on future potential. It needs to be based on what works now, what can be manufactured on a large scale now, and what keeps the car within the promised price range now. One of the first things that happens inside a battery cell, and that almost no one mentions in casual conversation, is the expansion and contraction of the internal materials during each charge and discharge cycle. It seems like something small, almost irrelevant. But when this happens thousands of times over the lifespan of a car, the accumulation of this microscopic movement begins to create internal cracks, loss of contact between components, and eventually, accelerated degradation of the cell. This phenomenon has a technical name: internal mechanical stress, and it is one of the biggest silent enemies of battery durability and cost. The greater the stress, the higher the cost to control the damage it causes over time. Aluminum-ion batteries address this problem in a noteworthy way. They operate in lower voltage ranges, generally between 1.5 and 2.0 volts per cell, and exhibit significantly less volumetric expansion during usage cycles. In practice, this means that the materials inside the cell move less, experience less pressure, and wear out more slowly and predictably. Data obtained in the laboratory and in pilot systems up to the end of 2025 show that aluminum-ion cells can sustain several thousand full charge cycles with minimal structural degradation, precisely because internal stress and microcracks are kept under control from the start of operation. This mechanical stability has a direct consequence that goes far beyond the durability of the cell itself. When internal stress is low and predictable, the manufacturer can work with less stringent production tolerances. In simple terms, This means that parts don't need to be manufactured with such an extreme level of precision. Inspection processes can be less intensive, and the rejection rate of defective cells during production drops significantly. Each of these factors represents a cost reduction that multiplies when production is done on an industrial scale, the kind Tesla needs to put hundreds of thousands of cars on the market each year. When the real cost of each type of battery is put on the table in concrete terms, the conversation immediately changes tone. It's no longer a discussion about chemistry, engineering, or technological potential. It becomes a discussion about money, and money is something everyone understands very well. Conventional lithium-ion batteries, which have undergone decades of industrial development and achieved global production scale, will operate in a cost range between $15 and $110 per kilowatt-hour by the end of 2025. This number represents years of optimization, competition between suppliers, process refinement, and waste reduction throughout the entire production chain. It's a result achieved with a lot of work and time, and it's the benchmark that makes affordable electric cars possible today. Solid-state batteries are nowhere near that level yet. The most recent industry estimates, based on data from the end of 2025, place the cost of solid-state cells under development between $350 and $500 per kilowatt-hour. This value is not a surprise to those who follow the sector because it reflects exactly the stage this technology is at. Emerging from laboratories, trying to scale up, still dependent on expensive materials, delicate processes, and low production yields. Every cell that fails quality inspection is money thrown away, and when the rejection rate is high, this waste quickly accumulates in the final cost of the product. To translate these numbers into something concrete, simply apply the math to the Model 2. The car is being designed to run on a battery pack between 45 and 50 kilowatt-hours, a capacity sufficient to cover the range that the target audience for this vehicle needs in their daily lives. With a solid-state battery in this capacity range, the cost of the power pack alone could reach between $15,000 and $25,000, depending on production output achieved by 2026. This represents between $10,000 and $15,000 more per vehicle, compared to technologies with already established costs. This extra value does not appear in any sales argument. It appears directly in the final price, without negotiation or discount. There's a concept within the world of batteries that rarely comes up in conversations about electric cars, but it has a direct impact on the wallet of those buying a vehicle and on the costs of those who manufacture it. This concept is called usable capacity, and it's different from the total capacity that appears in the car's technical specifications. Every battery pack has a nominal value, that number in kilowatt-hours that appears in the catalog. But no manufacturer allows the driver to use 100% of that energy. A portion is deliberately blocked, reserved as a safety margin to protect the cells from damage caused by charging and discharging at the extremes of the cycle. The larger this safety margin needs to be, the more physical battery needs to be installed to deliver the same real-world range to the driver. Conventional lithium-ion batteries that equip most electric vehicles available today operate with a usable capacity of approximately 70 to 80% of the total installed. This means that between 20 and 30% of the battery exists solely to protect the rest, never being accessed during normal vehicle use. It is a protection cost built into the product, accepted by the industry as necessary to ensure durability and honor the warranty terms offered to the consumer. Solid-state batteries, at the stage they are in until 2026, present an even more severe restriction. Because of the sensitivity of the solid electrolyte to damage at the interface between materials, many prototypes and systems under development limit the usable capacity to something between 60 and 70% of the total physical installed capacity. When this restriction is applied to the Model 2, the problem becomes immediately apparent. If the car needs 45 to 50 kilowatt hours of usable energy to guarantee the range promised to the buyer, and the solid-state battery only allows the use of between 60 and 70% of what is installed, Tesla would need to put a physical package of 60 to 70 kilowatt hours inside the vehicle. This means more cells, more material, more weight, more complexity in the battery management system, and, inevitably, more production costs. The buyer pays for a larger battery without receiving anything more than they would receive with a smaller battery of more efficient technology. It is an invisible expense that does not appear in any line of the purchase contract. There's a factor that operates even more silently than the cost per kilowatt hour or usable capacity. Yet it still carries considerable weight in the final price of any electric car. This factor is the risk of degradation, and it doesn't start counting after a few years of use. It starts counting the moment Tesla sets the vehicle's price, long before the first buyer gets their hands on the keys. This is because every car manufacturer needs to calculate, in advance, the probability of a battery failing or losing significant capacity within the warranty period. This calculation is not optional. It's a fundamental part of the cost structure of any product that promises durability. Aluminum-ion batteries exhibit quite favorable behavior in this respect. Data accumulated in laboratories and pilot systems up to the end of 2025 show that this chemistry can maintain more than 80% of its original capacity after 2,000 to 5,000 complete charge and discharge cycles. For a compact vehicle traveling between 12,000 and 15,000 miles per year, this number of cycles comfortably represents more than the typical car ownership period, which is around 7 to 10 years for most buyers. This means that the aluminum-ion battery, under the real-world usage conditions of the Model 2, tends to last longer than the owner's relationship with the vehicle itself, which is exactly the kind of predictability a manufacturer needs to safely calculate its risk. Solid-state batteries, despite all the promise they carry in terms of energy density, still present a much less stable picture in this regard. Industry technical reports from the end of 2025 indicate that many solid-state prototypes need to be limited to operating windows between 60 and 70% of total capacity precisely to avoid accelerated degradation. And even within these restricted windows, they still do not demonstrate a clear advantage in terms of capacity loss over time when compared to more mature technologies operating under equivalent usage conditions. This variability is a serious problem for any manufacturer that needs to offer battery warranties with clear terms and predictable costs. The financial impact of this uncertainty is easier to understand than it seems. If Tesla identifies that a particular battery chemistry presents a risk of premature failure just 1 to 2% higher than expected within the warranty period, that percentage needs to be converted into a financial reserve before the car is sold. With battery pack replacement costs estimated between $6,000 and $9,000 per vehicle, a 1 to 2% increase in the probability of failure forces the manufacturer to set aside an extra $100 to $300 per car produced. This amount is not absorbed by the company as a future loss. It is added to the vehicle's sale price from day one, invisibly to the buyer, but very present in the final bill. Every automaker that puts a car on the market makes a financial commitment that goes far beyond the moment of sale. This commitment is called a warranty, and in the case of electric vehicles, it is especially significant because the battery is the most expensive component of the vehicle and what most worries the buyer when signing the contract. Tesla, like any manufacturer competing in the mass market, needs to offer warranty terms that inspire consumer confidence without compromising the company's financial health. And to do this sustainably, it needs to accurately calculate the expected cost of each warranty it issues, even before the car is delivered to the first owner. This calculation begins with a simple question, but one with a complex answer. What is the probability that this battery will need to be replaced within the coverage period? To answer it, engineers and financial analysts work together with durability data, historical field failure data, accelerated test results, and real-world usage projections. When the chosen battery chemistry exhibits predictable behavior and well-documented life cycles, this probability can be estimated with a small margin of error. When the chemistry still carries significant uncertainties, as is the case with solid-state batteries in 2026, the margin of error increases, and with it, the financial reserve that the company needs to build up to protect itself from surprises also increases. The arithmetic of this process is straightforward and brutal. With battery pack replacement costs estimated between $6,000 and $9,000 per vehicle, an increase of just 1 to 2% in the probability of failure within the warranty period represents between $60 and $180 of expected additional cost per car produced. When considering that this risk needs to be covered with an additional safety margin, the amount reserved per vehicle can easily reach between $100 and $300 extra dollars embedded in the factory price. In a production of hundreds of thousands of units per year, this difference translates into tens or hundreds of millions of dollars in financial provisions that the company needs to set aside before registering any profit. After considering each of these internal factors, what you end up with isn't a technical discussion about battery chemistry. What you get is a very clear picture of how a decision made within an engineering laboratory translates into real numbers in the life of an ordinary person trying to buy a car. The Model 2 was promised as the vehicle that would democratize access to electric mobility, the one that would finally put Tesla alongside popular cars like the Corolla and Civic in dealerships, finance companies, and the garages of families who never imagined owning an electric car. This promise has a number associated with it, $25,000. And this number only holds up if the chosen battery allows it to hold up. The aluminum-ion battery, with its controlled internal mechanical stress, wider usable capacity, predictable degradation profile, and production cost compatible with already mature technologies, is the option that keeps the numbers balanced. It doesn't transform the Model 2 into a revolutionary car in terms of range or energy density, but it does something that, for this specific project, is worth much more than any technical record. It keeps the car within the promised price range. Every feature that reduces manufacturing costs, decreases the required package size, makes the warranty more predictable, and brings the production process closer to already established technologies, directly contributes to the Model 2 reaching the second half of 2026 with a price tag that the mass market can accept. Solid-state batteries tell a different story for this same scenario. On paper, they boast superior energy density, promises greater efficiency, and all the appeal of a technology representing the next big leap for the industry. But they also come with a cost per kilowatt-hour 3 to 5 times higher than mature alternatives, limited usable capacity requiring larger and more expensive physical packs, still variable degradation forcing more generous warranty provisions, and manufacturing processes that haven't yet reached the necessary throughput for large-scale production. Together, these factors don't just add a few dollars to the vehicle's price. They add up to enough to move the Model 2 entirely out of the price range for which it was designed.